does Giannis want to be here long-term with no Steph? And that's a question only he knows the answer to, because there is no way in hell I'm making that kind of deal and giving up everything that they would have to give up unless I knew for sure that Giannis wanted to be here long after Steph was gone and retired.
Nick, let's start right here. Not in Vegas, not steakhouses. We'll do that at another time. Giannis Antetokounmpo. We can't. Certain players and names you just can't quit in the Bay Area.
Nick, I want him.
Of course you do, because you want everything. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I say the name. You say what to Dub Nation? Can they get him, first of all? Is that even a possibility?
Always a possibility if the star wants to go to fill in the blank team. And by all accounts, for years, Steph and Giannis have developed their own friendship, and I'm sure it's at some point been floated. I mean, it's certainly been floated by the fan base for years and years, but let's get into it. It's Draymond or Jimmy, for sure gone, because you got to match up the salaries. It's Kuminga, you got to figure is gone. It's Podz, Moody, whoever else you could dream up, plus every asset they got. That's what this is. So I'm not saying don't go after Giannis, don't have the conversations. Hey, sure, okay. But you're going to have to give up everything that's not Steph to make it happen. So then the follow-up question is, okay, you've given up everything pretty much, and you have Steph and Giannis and Draymond, Jimmy, one or the other, because of the way the salaries have to work. Is that enough? And as I sit here right now, I tell you, no, that's not enough, because the Thunder, if they stay healthy, are going to roll through that team and every other team, and they're probably going to win their second title in a row. The question then becomes, though, okay, well, is Steph and Giannis, at least for another couple of years, as long as Steph plays, is that enough? We'll see, but that's part of the problem with Steph at about to be 38 years old. So I don't think it's out of the realm by any stretch, but I do think given what you'd have to give up to make it happen, that's where I really give it a lot of pause here.
Okay, totally fair. Totally fair. Is the team I'm watching right now good enough to get anything done?
No, but I don't think that anybody had that expectation that even if everything hit exactly right, Joe, that they could do everything they needed to do. What we've seen 2 months in is this team is not good enough, flatly.
I agree.
Even if everybody is healthy and everything's rolling, they're not good enough. So, okay, then, yeah, it's worth the conversation. But I think the key part in all of this, and this ties back to the first question, does Giannis want to be here long-term with no Steph? And that's a question only he knows the answer to, because there is no way in hell I'm making that kind of deal and giving up everything that they would have to give up unless I knew for sure that Giannis wanted to be here long after Steph was gone and retired. And that's what nobody knows except for him right
Okay,
now.
So if this trade were to go down, who would be the better fit alongside Steph and Giannis for the Warriors? Would it be keeping Draymond or would it be keeping Jimmy?
I actually think it would be keeping Jimmy, but then you're giving up the defensive engine that has powered this team for years and years, because Jimmy still allows, not that he shoots, but he has that look from the outside. And I think the fit is better on paper. But Draymond's Draymond. And Draymond's been the heartbeat of this team, along with Steph, for forever and ever, as long as they've been good. So there are a lot of layers to this, Joe. That's part of the issue, though. I mean, the other part is, does Milwaukee really want to do a deal where you're getting Jimmy or Draymond back? Because as we all know, they're pretty much close to the end of whatever primes they're in. And you can make the argument, certainly, with both those guys, that they might be out of it already. They're already at an advanced NBA age. So I think it'd be better Jimmy, Giannis, Steph. But to actually give up and move Draymond, that's another tough one that I don't know would actually happen.
And Nick, do you think Dunleavy would ever do a deal? And because we know Steph and Draymond tied at the hip, that's his boy, that's his guy. You think Dunleavy would ever go over Steph's head and say, "Nah, we're going to make this trade," a la Pelinka with LeBron last year when it came to AD and Luka?
No, because here's the difference, Spadone. Steph is still at an incredibly high level. And Steph has meant so much to the organization that would shock me if Dunleavy and Lacob said, "I want Giannis so bad that I'm not even going to talk to Steph Curry about it." Steph represents too much within to think that would happen, which is why, Mr. Shasky, to your point, the Draymond question is very interesting because there's no way in hell a Giannis deal goes down without Steph signing off on it. And if the deal came down to, okay, well, Draymond's got to be in it to make it happen, then what does Steph do? So, no, I don't think that scenario happens. I think Steph would have to be knowing everything that's going on and would ultimately have to sign off because whether you agree or not that his prime is over, he's still going to be here, you would think, at least 2 or 3 more years. And if he's here 2 or 3 more years playing at a very high level, you're not going to run the risk of pissing him off in the final stages of a career that has brought the team and the region so much success.
Are the Warriors in a position and are teams willing to wait until January 15th to include Kuminga in any of these hypothetical packages, whether it be Giannis, Anthony Davis, or whomever? Are they going to be kind of like left waiting for the January 15th date while other teams are able to make moves?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of hoping that nothing major goes down until that point. Because, Joe, if we hit January 15th, all the doors are open. Kuminga and every other piece, hey, let's see what can happen. If something happens beforehand, then you kind of are left to put your hands up in the air and go, I wish it had happened weeks later. So I think the Warriors in this case, on a broader note, are absolutely playing the waiting game because they're hoping, all right, let's see how this plays out. Let's make it past Christmas. Let's make it into the middle of January. And let's put all of our cards on the table, at least have the opportunity to, because the Kuminga question isn't going anywhere. It has hovered over everything they've done. January 15th is the date that all the fans know is the first time anything could actually happen. So I think internally, as far as any deal goes, you'd have to be crazy to think the Warriors aren't hoping, all right, let's wait till the middle of next month and let's see where everything plays out. If something happens beforehand, then it does, and there's not much else you can do about it.
Had they signed him to a multi-year offer last year, or if he had taken the qualifying offer this year, would he have been eligible to be moved prior to January 15th? Essentially, did the stalemate that happened over the summer have any effect on his availability in a trade prior to January 15th? I'm not sure if I even asked that question properly and it made sense.
I know what you're saying, Joe, and I would tell you that is a Bobby question that I am not certain of.
Gotcha.
What I knew all along is this was, and I don't know if that domino had fallen or this domino had fallen. January 15th all along was, all right, once you lock this in, this is the moment it could happen.
So now, like, I'm seeing Aaron Turner tweet stuff out. That's Kuminga's agent during the game. What the hell is going on? He didn't play at all in the fourth quarter. There's this knee injury, and I'm not saying it didn't exist, but now there's this knee injury. There's an ankle injury. There's just, what is going on with Kuminga, Nick?
It feels like a relationship that has run it. That's what it felt like all summer. Everybody was feeling good when he came back. He was focused. He was playing well. Joe, the problem is the second that he didn't play well for that stretch, and it happened right before the first injury came up with the knee tendonitis, and from the lineup because he wasn't playing well. From that point on, it's like, here we go again. And I can't speak to what happened in the last couple of years because obviously I wasn't here, and now I've been dropped back into this day to day. But when you are watching what's happening, it is so very obvious that to see more. The coaching staff wants to see more. And Kuminga clearly, especially through all that his agent said over the summer, the retweets that have popped up now, he wants Kuminga to get more of an opportunity and to see more playing time. And that's not happening. That's why if you're watching what's happening, it would be a surprise almost at this point if Kuminga was still there post the deadline. As we know, saying that a deal is going to happen in the NBA and a deal actually happening in the NBA are two very different things. But from the moment he got hurt and he got pulled from the starting lineup, everything feels like it has reverted back to where it was. And if you're the Warriors that had that feeling, at least, that they had a legit chance to do something this year, you were banking on Kuminga to help be that guy, whether it was through the whole course of the season or playing at a high enough level that once the trade deadline came around, you could make a move. And right now, everything just feels like it is back in a bad place, and the consistency that they wanted to see from him has not been there. And on the flip side, the consistency that he wanted to see as far as playing time and everything else and role, that's not there either. So it really depends on which side you're on, but the relationship does not feel real good right now.
Odyssey NBA insider, covers the Warriors for The Athletic, Nick Friedell on the River Islands guest line right now. So you're saying it's run its course potentially with JK and Golden State. After this season, do you think it's run its course with Steve Kerr as head coach of the Golden State Warriors, or is that strong right now, Nick?
I think that's too strong right now, Spadone, because it would still surprise me, given everything that Steve Kerr has said, given everything that has come out in the last couple years. The relationship between Steve and Steph is really, really tough. And if Steve Kerr wants to stay in a place, he knows what Steph represents, he knows what he brings every single day. It would just surprise me if he walked out of that relationship a year or two before Steph was ready to walk away from the game. As Kerr said in the beginning of the year, though, guys, and this is crucial, a lot can change in the NBA fast. We don't know. Does he feel burned out by how this has started? I don't think that's the case. But if they continue to be this 500 team and they get in the playoffs and they get knocked out, in the first round, I think they'll be there, certainly because he hadn't signed that extension. So everything is kind of hovering at the moment, but I think that's too much of a stretch right now in early December to say that might be it for Steve in the Warriors' tenure.
All right, I want to play a little game. How likely is this to happen? Okay? Just a little fun game off your feeling. You're going to give me a number based 1 through 10 on how likely this would be to happen coming to the Warriors, and then maybe one quick line so we can rat-a-tat-tat these. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 1 through 10, him coming to the Warriors.
I'd still say it's a 2.5 because there are so many different things that would have to happen that it would surprise me if it actually did happen, but I would leave open the chance that there's magic in there somewhere for the partnership between Steph and Giannis to occur.